Well, hi everyone. Yes, I'm not in my usual location tonight. I'm actually in my kitchen here, and a few have seen that featured in one of my bread baking uploads many moons ago. Listen, I had a great day today. It's Saturday. I came in and checked the comments after a day of working outside in the outbuilding. And probably over the last 4 weeks I've been on, I've gotten this question about 6 times. How do you know that you're transgender? Let's get right into it, okay? No hype, no BS. Number one, if you're transgender, it's probably in your thought processes a lot. And there's really two ways that you become traditional routes to transgenderism, at least as I've seen it in life. Route number one is the most common way, and there's a lot of girls in life that had the feeling when they were young, when they were children, teenagers, that they were born in the wrong body. Meaning that they were born boys, but they felt in their heart that they really enjoyed the idea or wanted to do feminine things. They felt like, a girl. And they got older and they like to do girl things. And typically they say play with dolls or dress in, get your mom's clothes out and dress up in them, and that's fine. Route number two is the way that I came into it, and it's a very contentious and debatable, and there's still a lot of fighting about the issue. It's the idea, as I got older, I like the thought of myself becoming or being a woman. And that thought started to captivate me more and more. There's a term for that. It's called autogenophilia. It's hotly debated in the transgender community. Some people hate the idea of that, but basically it says you love the thought of yourself as a woman. I didn't have that thought when I was younger, but as I grew older in my adult life, that thought process started taking over more and more. It became more a part of my life, the idea of being a woman and all that. So it's very important that you realize where your motivations are coming from. If you are transgendered or think that you're transgendered, it is something that will be on your mind a lot. And as a result, you will find it impacting the life of those around you too. For about 2 years before my ex and I split up, and the family, they said, you always seem like you're sort of distant and you're out there and like you're not plugged into the family anymore. Because I had raging thoughts in my head about what I am and where I'm going in life. And gee, how am I going to be a woman in the midst of a family and raising two kids? And your head just can't even wrap around those ideas. Okay, so that's one way that you know that you're transgender. If you just gradually become unplugged, from your day-to-day life. And I'm particularly talking about the people that come to this older in life as I did. Okay, it's not particularly geared to the traditional route of transgenderism when you're, like I said, when you're a boy and you like to play with dolls and things of that nature. But it's important that you know these sort of markers, that how you know that this is going on. So it does captivate your thought processes a lot. Later on, we'll talk about, the cost of that. Everything has a cost in life. And I'll go into that. I've lost family. I've lost friends. I lost I was making $250,000 a year living in Hong Kong, the high life as an expat with a maid, everything, all gone. Okay? There's a cost to stuff that you have to know. And we're going to talk about that going forward. But just understand, if you are transgendered, it's one thing to have thoughts crossing your mind once in a while. Gee, I wonder how that underwear feels if I try it on. Well, that's just more of a tactile sort of, it might feel good or it might feel bad. But if it's something that you think about all the time, or the idea of being a woman and taking over your life as it did mine, then you're probably transgendered. Last thing I want to say about this is, and I fought this with my family a lot, there's the traditional transgenderism approach, which is, I grew up and always felt like I was born in the wrong body. But there's the other approach, which I did, liking the idea of being a woman more and more as you got older. The important thing is, although the transgender community and psychologists and psychiatrists debate these two approaches or these two avenues to transgenderism, as I told my daughter, if a train goes from New York to Chicago or a train goes from Denver to Chicago, guess what? They both end up in Chicago. It hardly even matters how they got there. The end result is the same. So whether I came to transgenderism with the traditional route of growing up and feeling like I grew up in the wrong body, or I came through the autogenophilia of liking the idea of myself as a woman, they both come to the same place. So I think my daughter finally derived a little peace from that, and we were able to move forward and just see, look, we don't have to debate the road. Let's just talk about the end result and go from there. So I want to shed a little more light going forward, but this is a first step, and I do feel like I have to pay it forward a little bit to some out there. So I hope you appreciate my thoughts, and thanks for listening. Okay.